I'm Yanis Khamsi, and here we have Justin McHugh. He's a composer and a drummer. And here we have Alex, his producer. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Good. Justin, you just released your album, Simple Grounds. Tell me about the album. How did that come together?
Well, basically, I needed to do fourth year project for school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do at first. And then I started getting into composing about a year before I knew I had to do this project. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to write a bunch of tunes. First time ever really writing songs and arranging them for a bunch of instrumentalists and see where it takes me. And then ended up coming up with some pretty cool stuff that I really like and enjoy, and everyone seemed to like it. And I had a bunch of people help me out, like Alex, my producer, and then, yeah, it was a good time.
Great. And what, for those who don't really listen to jazz, what influences did you have for this album?
For this album, that's hard to say. I was actually, it's probably not going to help out, but I was listening to a lot of classical music before I started writing this, so a lot of Debussy, like more modern stuff, and Oliver Messiaen and Stravinsky and whatnot. And I was like, I really wanted to capture that sort of sound, and also bring in like my other influences like jazz, reggae, some hip hop, everything like that, and just see where it kind of takes me. Just let what I've listened to my whole life just kind of come out through these compositions. So it's pretty hard to say, but there is like a wide variety of different stuff that I'm sure everyone would be able to take from it.
No, and you said, you sort of self-deprecatingly said classical music doesn't help, but it does. Like, all the great jazz musicians loved classical music.
Yeah.
Like whether it was Charlie Parker or like even those New Orleans cats, like they were playing like instruments that were played in like the late 1800s, right?
Right, and they're all just stealing harmony and whatnot from classical music, and you know, classical music's still way ahead of what jazz is currently. Like there's still way more stuff we need to look into. So
that's true. It's good that you're not a jazz purist. I'm sure a lot of other people in your program. But why don't you talk a bit about your program? You're in Humber's jazz program?
Yep, yeah, I actually just graduated. Alex was also a part of it. Mm-hmm. We were in the same year, so.
Nice. How'd you two meet?
Met in first year master class with Mark Kelso.
Yeah, pretty intimidating times.
What made it intimidating?
Do you want to say?
Oh, just Mark Kelso is just such an amazing drummer, you know? It's like standing in the same room as, I don't know, just like a celebrity or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's it can be terrifying in a way, you know? Somebody who has so much experience and depth in the field of music, so.
What is he known for?
I guess mainly his like session work around Toronto. Like he's played with basically everyone in Toronto, and he's just really well known, and his playing's just extremely good. And he's played with some really heavy guys, like he's played with like jazz guys like Herbie Hancock and John Scofield and Pat Metheny, from what I understand. So he's got a good name for himself, basically. And it's like you're not only playing in front of him, you're playing in front of everyone in your class as well. And you're just like, man, this is really scary.
And Alex, what was your first impression of Justin's drumming and him as a person?
I don't know. I thought we got along pretty well from the start. I don't know. Had a lot of similar interests, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely similar interests. I don't know. All the drummers got along.
Yeah.
The majority of them.
It's hard to say like opinion of drumming, because depending on your position when you come into the program, you're either coming straight out of high school, or maybe you've been to another program first, or maybe you're working and then come to school. So it depends on your background, but I feel like a lot of your personality and characteristics kind of come with your time through the program, as opposed to just when you get there, you know?
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And what made you guys want to work with each other on this EP?
I guess we worked with each other a little bit throughout school, so again, we had the same sort of interests, and I personally think Alex is an insanely good composer himself, and he has knowledge in other areas that I don't have knowledge. Like, he can arrange really well, like his ideas. He just seemed to like really bring out my compositional ideas and rearrange them in certain ways that just made more sense than what I thought.
Thanks, man.
So,
But it's funny, you said you were a control freak, right? You like to be in control, but
Yeah.
with letting Alex do the arranging and producing, that was totally fine?
It's not, well, Justin did a lot of the arranging himself. It's just in certain areas, I think, where
Yeah.
certain things I thought needed to happen, I kind of would jump in and not take over. I would just kind of suggest, oh, why don't we kind of do this?
Yeah.
I feel like it'll kind of make a better arc, or depending on the situation, because there's,
Was there a song where you had an input and then you told Justin, no, it's got to be like this, or I recommend that it's like this, and then Justin went with it?
I think there was basically the first two tunes for sure, a little bit on the last tune as well, like the first, I'll say the tunes later, but what happened was it's not him more or less giving me input, it's him being another set of ears. So like when I'm composing, it's like, I think this sounds really cool, but as soon as you bring any composition in front of anyone and show it to anyone, you start listening to it differently yourself, because there's other people there judging it, and you're like, ooh, that part's kind of weird. And then he would give me his input on like what he thought was weird, and then I'd be like, yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I was hearing that differently while I was listening it to you. It's just a weird sort of thing that happens. But like on the first tune, there was this one part that I thought to have a solo section over, and he was like, no, we shouldn't do it there, we should do it over the intro melody part. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. It definitely sounds a lot better, and we tried it out, and I liked it a lot more. So
It's great. You're a drummer, and yet you compose a lot of really interesting chord changes and melodies and bass lines. A lot of drummers aren't really into that. How did you fall into composing and understanding melody and harmony?
That's a good question. I've been playing piano for a little bit, not too long, maybe like 4 years or so, but I'm really into like a lot of like atonal music, so weird sounds are really something my ear goes towards, so it's just like weird chords and stuff like that. I'm all about like really interesting sounding bass lines and whatnot, and I don't know, not just being major or minor, being both sort of thing. Even though I really do like that stuff, it's just what I personally really enjoy is really weird sounding stuff, I guess to say.
Atonal music. So like, what are some great atonal composers?
Like Schoenberg did like 12-tone row, stuff like that, and Stravinsky, and then what's his name? Bela Bartok. He has a lot of that's how I started learning piano, was through Bela Bartok's book. I forget the name of it now, but he does all these like piano exercise things. So it goes like from level 1 to like level, I don't know, 10 or whatever, and they're all just really different from the traditional way of learning piano. Traditional way is like you learn like a C major tune. He's like, oh, let's learn a C major tune in the left hand, and then an F sharp major tune in the right hand, and just like see what happens, sort of.
I think 1 million RCM piano teachers' heads just exploded.
Possibly.
So you learned piano atonally.
Yeah, just because, I don't know, I thought it was, like I started learning, the first instrument I started learning was piano when I was really young, and then I just hated it and went to drums. And then I was like, as I played drums, I got into all this really weird sort of stuff. I was like, okay, I really want to get back into the harmonic, melodic sort of side, but not the method I took when I was younger, and I kind of just went into it my own way, sort of.
Nice. I also play piano atonally, but it's not on purpose. I also play drums arrhythmically. It's awesome. There's this great meme on the internet which is like Fry and he's squinting. It's like, not sure if terrible at instrument or really good at jazz.
That's pretty
Perfect.
Alex, do you also like atonal music, like the really far out stuff?
I can't say I've had put a lot of time into that field. I'd be lying if I said I did. But yeah, I don't know. It's not that I don't like it. It's just not something I've put a lot of time into, I guess.
Like honestly, most people I know aren't into it at all. Like my good guitar player friend Jake, he played on the album. He absolutely hates that stuff, and he's just like, I can't believe Like I just show him songs, and he's just like, "This is absolutely terrible." I'm just like, "Dude, this is the best. This is like my favorite song currently."
I find them funny.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I can't take it that seriously. It's almost like outrageous.
Yeah.
Like how like, not how bad it is, but how adventurous it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I don't know. Just me, I could just see it. I just love it. My ears just really. I love crazy melodies that are completely against each other. And like there's this one. Who was I listening to recently? I was listening to some string quartets by Bela Bartok, and like the 2 violins and the viola were in one key, and then the cello was in another key. So it's like you have this really sweet and beautiful melody and harmony coming from the 2 violins and the viola, but then you have the cello just like destroying it, and it just sounds like amazing. I don't know. We can really picture some cool things when you listen to it. So.
Well, I think that's really interesting stuff. I mean, jazz at the end of the day is all about, because like jazz, moving a little bit more into the theory, I don't think jazz was ever really like strictly major or minor. It was always either like Mixolydian or Dorian, even at its most basic like blues form, right?
Yeah, I'd agree.
And I think in some years that sounds funny. I was in New Orleans this summer, and I had a harmonica with me because I wanted to bring an instrument because I knew there was music everywhere. And I walked up to this band and I was like, all right, let's play a song in F sharp, because my harmonica in B would sound Mixolydian in.
And then they hated you.
No. Then they played Saints Go Marching In.
Okay.
But then as they started out the song, I realized, oh no, Saints Go Marching In F sharp. That song is a diatonic song, like it's a major scale song. Ba da 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 down 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 down. You can't do blues like on top of that.
Yeah.
So she sent me off to solo, and it just sounds so bad because it can only be in Mixolydian. So there's like the flat 7 in there that's just ruining everything. When it's like it has a major 7 in there.
Yeah.
Bum 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 ba bum.
Yeah.
Atonal harmonica.
Yeah.
I know.
Perfect.
No, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, but that's.
No, it
but
depends on
tone
how you
music.
take it, right? Like if
Yeah.
you just, I guess like harmonica would be kind of hard to get away with, but like if you just.
If I had a guitar with me, it would have been fine, or a piano.
Exactly.
Or if I brought my accordion with me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, Alex, what instruments do you play other than drums?
I'm kind of like I'm just trying to basically get into keys more. I kind of had a similar situation where I started piano at a fairly young age and then didn't really like it that much. So yeah, I'm just kind of getting back into it as well. I started, playing a little bit in the first year, just more to back up the theory, I guess, and kind of understand things more at like a functional level.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because when you come to school, it's like if you just play drums, and then you're thrown into like theory and ear training, it's just like, okay, I have no clue what's going on, so I gotta like really step up my game here.
Don Henley, one of the most famous drummers in rock and songwriters as well, famous for the Eagles.
Mhm.
When he was in college, he was an English major, but he was also playing drums and he's a great drummer. He plays Dixieland jazz and all that. He took a music theory class as an elective and got a D. Don Henley.
That's pretty good.
Because how necessary do you think theory actually is, especially for playing something like drums? Like drums are physical. If you're out of shape, you can't play them. It doesn't matter how knowledgeable you are.
Yeah,
That's just my thought.
I'd say it's more or less what you want to get into. Like I never knew I wanted to get into theory. Like throughout high school, I hated theory. I hated everything to do with it. And then when I started getting into different types of music and whatnot, I wanted to learn it, so I started learning it. You could totally get away without learning it. Like Sekou,
oh yeah,
he doesn't know anything, but he's this crazy good Toronto drummer, and he's just like amazing. But he talks to you, he's like, yeah, this part's triplets, and you're just like, no, it's not triplets, but like, it sounds killing, so.
That's great. Yeah, I hate the theory people, like the reverse of that, the people who are all about the theory, but then they can't play at all. Like this song is 5-1, 5-1, and they try to sing and then they can't sing at all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Theory doesn't make singers, they don't need to know theory.
Yeah, just depending on what they need to do though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. That's a little ignorant.
Yeah, I think it depends what you actually do with the theory when you have it. Like when I came out of high school, I didn't know how to make a chord. You know, like just playing drums. I could sight read, you know, fairly well for drums, but yeah, I didn't know how to make a chord. So as soon as I like started getting more into theory and gaining more knowledge, you realize how important it is. Like, if I sit at the piano, and I'm not a great piano player, and so I'll put my hands on the keys, and then eventually if I find something that I like, it's like, okay, I don't know what I'm playing, but then I write it out, and it's like, oh, I know what I'm playing now. So now, like, for the rest of the tune, you can construct it with the theory to back it up. I don't know if that makes sense, but...
Yeah.
That does make sense. Makes perfect sense to me. Families, did they pressure you into music? Did they not? I mean, you mentioned you both did piano when you were younger.
Mm-hmm.
The family and the friends, they're all okay with you guys being music majors? How's that?
Definitely not all of my family, but my parents they're pretty supportive. Like, you know, they really helped me through school, and my mom was the one who made me go into piano when I was younger, just because she took piano when she was younger. And she still plays it, and plays at church and whatnot. And then my uncle, he's a drummer, so he gave me a drum set for Christmas, but he lives pretty far away, and that's how I got into drumming. So music is mainly in my dad's side of the family, and my mom's side, they're not really cool with me doing music. Whenever my uncle or my grandparents come over, they're just like, what are you doing? So.
How does that make you? I mean, you said that your parents don't support you.
No, my parents do, just not my one side of my family, mainly my grandma.
And what kind of things did they say to discourage you when you were 17, 16, thinking about going to college?
I never told them, so they didn't say much. But now they're just like, you should get a real job, and it's just like, I don't want to. So.
Alex, do they support you, your parents, family?
Yeah, my whole family pretty much supports me. Both my parents are music teachers, actually. So my dad teaches high school band and middle school band now, actually, and is a great trumpet player. My mom came out of classical piano, and she taught privately a lot, or I should say taught privately, but and also taught elementary and middle school level band. So.
Good. And so you guys are both graduated?
I am.
I'm not. I have to go back for one class.
What's the class?
Funny enough, it's pedagogy, so teaching.
Pedagogy, teaching just drums or teaching all music?
I guess it's more about the theory of teaching, or like intro.
How did mom and dad feel about that?
That's a good point.
I mean, to be quite honest, it was more just getting to class thing.
Yeah.
I think I can do the work. I just wasn't there doing other stuff.
That's like the Pillsbury Doughboy and his son isn't going to baking class.
It's a good point.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, but it's cool. You guys are both on the brink of graduating. You know, jazz is not really known for, celebrity and all that. What ambitions do you have?
I really want to start writing, hopefully for film scores and whatnot at some point in my life. But I need to really improve my writing before I can do that. I know that for a fact. Also just want to keep playing and keep teaching. Basically, my goal in life is just to be able to sustain myself off of music for as long as I can, and hopefully my whole life, even if it means I have to live off basically nothing for a good 10 years of my life. That's fine with me, sort of thing. So.
That's great. Alex, similar light?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm a lot into production, actually, various styles of music. I mean, this is more a jazz project. I'm also involved with a pop group that I do. It's called Astronomer, and I also do playing for like play drums as well. So it's another band called the Cashews, and
Yeah, his arranging on Astronomers is just like crazy good. Like,
thanks.
it's really good. Their songs are so good. You guys should definitely like get a chance to check them out because they're pretty happening.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But what kind of Justin keeps singing your praises about arrangement. What kind of arrangers do you love?
Arrangers. That
Producer
I love.
arrangers, you know, like are you into Phil Spector?
I guess Max Martin, more like pop producers, I guess. I can't. It's hard for me to list like a bunch of people. I don't really take that approach as much. It's more like about the tunes. I just kind of listen. I don't like actually go out to find like certain people, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a different approach for me, I guess.
No, I'm the same way. Like, I don't really know names as much. Like, I don't really, I don't know. You kind of just like go for a sound, sort of. I don't know if that's what you would say. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex is a great sound. That great sound that you love. Name me a song on your EP where that sound just comes together. You're really proud of it, and you're also proud of the way Alex produced it and arranged it, and helped you out with it.
Jeez. That's the problem is I like certain sections of each song.
What's a section of a song you really love?
Definitely really love the ending of Cut 4, which is the last tune on the EP. It sounds absolutely sick. It's probably like one of my favorite things. Also love, it's going to be a lot of endings here. The ending of Insight, really good, but also the intro, really good. It's just like, I went for a lot of stuff that I didn't know would work. Like I got Zach Zanardo, crazy guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
He plays with Ginger Ale and the Mono Whales. Also,
band.
All these great names.
should check those guys out, Toronto. But he's just, I've just known him for doing like really crazy effects. Like he'd bring in like ring mods and like a bunch of delays and stuff. So personally, I'm not really much into that side of things. Like I don't play guitar or anything like that, so I don't have to deal with delay and effects and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But he does, and the things he brought to it was just so good. And both of those tunes, Inside and Cut 4, he brought some really sick effects, and that's what, I don't know, really made me really love the endings of those tunes.
Yeah, Zach's a really great guy. He's also really, really smart from a theoretical standpoint, and he just like, he has like a set of ears unlike a lot of people. Super creative guy.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys gotten to a point now where you listen to music and it's like 1, 3 minor, 6 minor, 4, and then like you don't even, you're half listening to the words and half going, all right, what are the chords here? Okay, yeah, okay.
I don't have good ears like that way, so no, I can't do that. But
yeah, me neither. Like unless I'm in front of a piano and like just try and learn it, I could probably learn it pretty fast. But I would never want it to be that way. You know, probably will end up getting that way. But
I could see the advantages of having that, because then you can like be like, okay, I can write like a popular tune, like sorry, I don't want to say like popular tune, but a song like this, and I know the structure, like the chord structure of it right now, and just bam.
mm-hmm.
Instead of having to go out and listen to it and like transcribe it in a couple minutes, you can just do it on the spot, sort of thing, which can have its benefits. I don't know, it's not something I'm really into, is getting really good ears. Be nice though.
That's a goal. Love the EP, Simple Ground. So what are you doing to promote it? Are you going to play shows? Where can people see you?
Currently, I'm not doing too much with it, but hopefully in the future I will be. I'm definitely going to be applying to play some jazz festivals and maybe even some grants. If I can get some grants, that'd be sweet, because then I can have hopefully paid rehearsals, because it's hard to get like a big band together and with people who actually want to do stuff, sort of thing, who actually are dedicated to the learning charts and giving
How'd you
their
do that
input to
with
music.
this time around, getting the musicians?
Just because it was through school, right? Because if it's through school, everyone is at school, so you can just be like, hey, you're just in that other room right now, want to come over and rehearse with me and whatnot. It was still really hard, like trying to get rehearsals together was was a big pain because everyone's pretty busy at the same time. But we all go to the same school, so there's that common ground that we can all meet up there. But now that everyone's out of school, or basically everyone that played on my session, it's just like to get them together is a big challenge in itself, and also to find a room to rehearse in, that's hard as well. So definitely want to try and, if I can't get any money, at least get some really solid gigs that are paying well, and then I can kind of be like, hey, want to come rehearse so we can get some, we're going to get paid, so there's something in it for you, sort of thing.
Absolutely. Alex, any other challenges you face? Any challenges you guys faced making this record?
I guess, like, I have a fairly positive view on school, but at the same time, when you're in school, you're in the thick of it. You're being dragged in so many different directions. Like, it's like, oh, I'd really like to work on Justin's project or my own project or whatever it is, but oh, I have to go to arranging class. Oh, I have to go to composition class. Oh, I didn't make pedagogy. you know what I mean? So I think just like the time, I guess. But for a first project, like,
turned out pretty good.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a tune you're most proud of?
I guess Cut 4, probably.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cut 4. For the people at home, how can you describe Cut 4? What makes it so unique?
Well, I wrote it very quickly. Probably I had one draft of it first week, showed it to Alex. There's some parts that just sounded really not good. And just because like my ear was going towards some really weird...
Atonal?
Yeah, like just like weird changes and stuff like that. And when I was listening to him, I was just like, yeah, okay, those need to get removed. So it basically changed the whole song. And it started off with this like pop, in my mind, pop sort of melody from the sax and what the bass line is playing, and then just goes into these like, I guess like hip hop-esque type chords for a solo, and then goes into some crazy shots at the end. I don't know, it's pretty interesting, I guess.
You're combining the things. You said you like jazz, you like hip hop, and you're actually fusing it together.
Yeah, yeah, just
because. Which is great. Instead of playing Donna Lee for the 45th time. Yeah,
like I don't like boundaries, so I just like, okay, let's do this. And then another example for this same tune is I brought Zach in to do overdubs on it again, and I didn't really have any idea of what I wanted him to do, but I know I wanted him to play some chords. And he was just showing me some ideas, and I was just like, hey, how about you just play like a straight up, like something you'd play on like a rock or punk sort of tune, just to see what it sounds like. And it sounded absolutely sick, and it really definitely throws the listener off when the guitar first comes in, but
yeah, change the track, I think.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
Good way.
Because you think the track's going to go one way, then it just completely flips on you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on jazz music? And you guys have just gone through jazz school, so you've seen good jazz musicians, you've seen bad musicians, you've seen the really, really trad people. You've also seen the really, really far out atonal people.
Yeah, yeah.
Any thoughts on jazz, where it should go? Should it be this really puristic thing? Should it be just whatever you want? Should it even be called jazz anymore?
Do you want to say it? Or
No, you go first.
Okay. I think all of those need to exist for it to continue. Like, you need the purists, so, there will still be the roots of it, and I still really like listening to purists. Like, it's not I want to say it's a quote, but it's not really a quote, but it's just like, if you want to be original, don't listen to the people that are happening now around you, because then you're just going to sound like what's happening now. Look back to the guys who are doing it way before you, and try and see what they're doing, because then you'll bring something new out of them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you concur exactly?
Pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of definitions of jazz out there,
Yeah.
For me, it's like improvised bass music. I think that's pretty much...
Yeah, I think that's a big consensus of most people.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm kind of into hearing a lot of different sounds, I guess, just new things, you would never ever like think to hear. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like being blown away that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So, for the people at home, one album they have to go home and listen to right now. Something you think that they'd really love.
But what's the audience here? Just everyone?
The general, everyday person who isn't familiar with jazz, or when I say jazz, the sphere of jazz. So that can also mean like the 70s Stevie Wonder albums. It can also mean Joni Mitchell albums, Paul Simon albums. You know, the real people who went to school for music. If you want to educate people musically, what's an album that you think they'd really enjoy? The average person.
For the person who isn't into jazz, but would like to be, or I would say, I don't know.
Simple Grounds by Justin McHugh.
Exactly. No. Probably go out and listen to, I would say, Snarky Puppy at this point in time. Maybe some people would disagree with me, but check out Snarky Puppy, because they're pretty like pop, the way they compose their stuff, but it's jazzy. And Larnell Lewis, teacher at this school, plays drums on one of their new albums, and he absolutely kills it. Like, it's insane how good this guy is. So, and we both studied with him. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great program. And Alex, what are people going to go out and buy?
I would say pretty much anything by Thelonious Monk. Particular album, probably, I think it's called Thelonious Monk Live in Tokyo.
I've heard a lot about that.
Check that one.
Is that with Elvin?
I can't remember at this point. But yeah.
Love that. Thelonious Monk. There's that one Thelonious Monk album that has that weird name. Oh no, it's the Mingus album. Never mind.
Okay.
Mingus.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's my recommendation for the fine folks out there. All
Goodbye,
right.
Porcupine.
So to end this lovely conversation, let's just steer it away from music. What does Justin McHugh like to do when he's not playing music?
Recently, I've been watching a lot of epically layered skateboard videos on Vice. Just, I don't know, I'm just really into skateboarding. And so I like doing that. And then also playing some video games, which whenever I do any of that stuff, I just want to be doing music because I'm wasting my life. I enjoy it a lot.
That's great. Alex, who are you when you're not Mr. Producer, Musician, Arranger?
Yeah, I mean, I get a fair share of video games in too. Kind of feel the same way about it though. It's like, it can really take over at times, but it's kind of nice just like, you know, just really just sit back and kind of chill and not thinking about anything really for a bit. Sometimes you need that because you're so focused on other stuff 100% of the time.
Exactly.
You know, other than that, just movies. Lots of movies.
I've never been a movie guy. I don't know any movies.
And you want to do film scores.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Don't sabotage yourself.
Oh, okay, I take that back.
Quickly, I forgot. The album cover. It seems pretty abstract. I mean, it seems like a great blend of blue and red tones.
Yeah.
Tell me about the album cover. Did you want to?
Honestly, I just gave it to my friend Tom, Tom Schuley, and I told him, I gave him all the tracks before I ever released them. I told him not to let anyone listen to them, just because, just our friend base, just like, I don't want to just give it away to all my friends. I just want to give it to this one guy. And I told him just to come up with whatever he wanted, just because, I don't know, I don't really know what input to give to him. So he kind of took the album name, Simple Grounds, and he kind of just said, I'm just going to draw like something or paint something digitally simple. And that's what he did. And the color scheme was like perfect. He gave me like 2 or 3 different ones, and there was that one. I was just like, that's the best. Like the other ones were kind of more cheerful, I guess, and I kind of like the more dark.
Atonal.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. And lastly, before we say goodbye, it's been a lot of fun. Millions of people at home watching this, millions of people thinking about doing music, doing movies, acting, whatever. You guys are really living, and you guys are very talented, and you're living your dream. But what about the 14-year-old, 15-year-old who just got a guitar? They're not so sure about it. They think they want to do music, but they're not so confident about it. They don't know where to start. It's overwhelming. Everyone took piano lessons when they were younger, and this exact same thing happened. They went, dun, 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 brr. No, I can't do it. And then you get discouraged. What do you say to that person who's on the brink of discouragement? What can music offer them if they really get persistent and stay at it?
Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say try to take thinking out of it as much as possible. Don't think about like where you have to be or where you have to get to. It's just the time you put in. So even if you have bad days or good days, as long as you're doing something, you're going to be in a better spot the next day, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a big thing that I think a lot of people forget. I'm still forgetting it myself. So, like I want to write, but then I write and I'm just like, this sounds terrible. But I need to not think about that. I just need to write, and then you get better. It's like you play guitar. Sure, it might sound terrible now, but just keep playing it and don't put any thought into it, and just enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they'll just keep getting better.
Great. Well, you guys certainly enjoy what you're doing. I'm sure everyone who hears your album, Simple Grounds, is going to enjoy what they're doing. You've already gotten so much praise from it already. I can't wait to hear what you guys do in the future. Really great. I'm Yanis Khamsi, and this has been Music Interviews with Simple Grounds.
Thanks. Thank you.